already know what it is. It's your boy D-Rugg, a.k.a. the bald head Don nigga. And it's another episode of Orange County Urban Media. We introduce y'all to the game. Let's go ahead down the line.
Hey, what's up? What's up? It's your boy Renai.
Hey guys, you got Amber Lowinskey, Mr. Yard Safety, the OG.
Right, and we here.
Whew, okay.
It's the media, man!
Man. Okay, so it's just been an amazing year for Orange County Urban Media, man. You know, just highlight interviews, meeting new people, new highlights. We had our last show, we had one legend. And now tonight, we got another legend. Woo, man. And the thing about it with this person that we have here, first BET generation, man. Like, if anybody that knows Video LP, y'all done seen her in Video LP. Y'all done seen her in videos in the 90s as well. And you probably done seen her do other interviews. She did BET Brief News. She also interviewed your favorite NBA players like Michael Jordan. She also interviewed groups like SWV, Jodeci, Leon. The list goes on and on, because if I just go on and on, the show will be over with. You know, and it's a blessing to have her.
Yes, it is.
And you know who we have here is Miss. I gotta rewind it back. And also, she was part of a well-known hip-hop song that was by Tribe Called Quest. And it's like the most punchline, is the most famous line in the music industry. And if you don't know what it is, I'll go ahead and repeat it. But hun, you got the goods, like Madelyne Woods. And that's who we have here. You know, legendary, legend, all in the same, Miss Madelyne Woods.
How are you?
Man, I think I should have took a shot. Maybe two.
I think you made him a little nervous.
He's so funny. You were so dramatic.
Maybe I should have snipped some coke.
Dramatic.
Even I don't do coke. Oh, it's so a blessing to have you here, man. So, like, how you been? What's been going on?
Life is good. Life is good. I'm so happy I got a chance to meet you. We met, a month ago? I came in just to stop by, check out Podcast House. I met Phil.
Yes.
And then Phil told me, why don't you sit in on this show? And I was like, okay. So I sat here and I watched you. And I got all excited because you were killing it that night. Ashley, you were here. D-Rugg was here. Chase hadn't met you yet, Amber, but it was just a good feeling, a good vibe, and your interview was pretty good. I can't even remember the guest now because you talked so much and was so funny that I just got caught up in the feeling of everything.
Yeah,
so thanks for having me on now.
Yeah, shout out to E-Way the Long Way, man.
That's who it was.
Yeah,
E-Way the
boy,
Long
E-Way.
Way.
Shout out to E-Way the Long Way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man, like, let's go and get into it, man. So, you know, you from Washington, D.C.
That's my home.
You know, before it wasn't called the DMV.
No.
It was called Washington,
it was D.C.
D.C.
proper. It was D.C., the chocolate city.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. After everybody started migrating in, we opened the doors and let Maryland and Virginia to get some shine, too, with us. And that's how it became DMV for D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Now, only certain parts of Virginia, like Northern Virginia, that actually, share a border with D.C., and parts of Maryland that share a border with D.C. So Baltimore, Allegheny, Maryland, that they ain't with us. That's not part of the DMV. You got to be right there.
They not like
beside.
us.
No, they not like us.
So, like, growing up, in DC,
Yeah.
in the chocolate city. How was it, man? Because I done heard so many beautiful stories about DC back
Yeah.
then, and just now just so different with the gentrification.
Well, and that's exactly what it was back in the early days. Well, not early days. I mean, I was born in the 60s. So back in the 60s, it was very community oriented. Everybody knew each other. Everybody looked out for each other in the city. When black people back in the 60s and 70s in D.C., who actually lived in D.C., made a little money, started doing a little better, we migrated out to Maryland, again, right on the border to Prince George's County, which technically is the 9th ward of D.C. It's in Maryland, but because it's so close and so many people from D.C. went to PG County, they call it the 9th ward. So I actually grew up in PG County in Maryland, but again, you got 1 foot across the street and you're right back in D.C., so it was just like you were still in the city. Again, it was very black. We were very proud. It was so much fun because it was just, we were the majority in DC.
Wow.
I mean, it was the chocolate city. And it was cool to walk around and see restaurant owners and, barbershops and black doctors and Howard University's campus where you just saw black people doing their thing and being proud of it. And I mean, I miss that for us now. We really don't have that now.
Right.
Gentrification came in, and not just in DC, but across the country.
Of course.
And, you diversify, you mix it up, you learn different cultures, you start to forget your own. And
Yes.
sometimes I miss that really bad. Like when I go home now to DC, it's a totally different vibe. It's so different, but it's a beautiful, historic place that after you adjust and acclimate yourself, I'm happy to be back in DC still.
Yeah, I just can't deal with the cold weather.
You just can't what?
I can't deal with cold weather.
Yeah, I've been in Orlando now for 26 years. Yeah, 26 years. So I really can't deal with the cold weather no
Right.
more neither. I don't think I would live there again, but I go home as often as I can.
Yeah, because, what's so unique about you is the time that you was doing what you was doing, there was not a lot of black women doing what you was doing. And plus,
We were all at BET.
yeah, that part. And it thank God for BET.
Yeah.
Because I know just like you did your undergrad at Maryland, University of Maryland at College Park, and I know just going to that particular college, I know you had experienced a lot of, racism, because, not to say because, but it's usually, when they know that you're bright and brighter than them, they'll do anything to sabotage the work that you do.
Yeah. I just think that's life. I grew up in a household that was very black and very proud. So did I encounter racism? Absolutely. I still do.
We all
right
do.
here in Orlando.
We all do.
In the airport, in the grocery store, everywhere. But I never let racism control me. I never let it make me feel like I was less than, or I couldn't, or it was a real barrier for me. Maybe it's just the way I was brought up, or the way that God made me, but I don't care if you white, black, yellow, purple, orange, blue. You can't tell me who I am.
Amen.
And you can't stop me from being me. And so, does racism exist? Absolutely. Have I experienced it? Absolutely. Is it a big part of my life? No.
That's good.
No.
That's great.
I can't let you have that kind of control.
Exactly.
Yeah, so let's get, okay. So you did journalism. Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
what journalism means to you?
It's changed. It's totally different now. Back in the day, before social media and so much technology exploded on the scene, we had to go out and do the legwork, meaning you couldn't just Google to find out, who you were going to be interviewing or what kind of research. You really couldn't research like that. You had to go to the library. You had to get on the phone and call people. You had to go face to face with people, and a lot of times try to catch them on the go, on the move, because if there was a topic or some interview they didn't want to talk about, you had to ambush them or bum rush them and walk with them while they were trying to get away from you and still have your microphone out asking your questions. So you had to do all of that preparation, all of that research, all of that information gathering, and have it present in your head so that when you did catch up with somebody, you could just, get out what you needed to get out. There was no, wait a minute, let me check. Let me pull out my phone. Let me get my notes. And this is no disrespect to everybody now, because I wish I had a phone back then, a cell phone, a smartphone. Wish I did. But we were so much more athletic with it, I think, because we were moving all the time. We were moving. When I started in journalism, I was a one-man band. So all this right here, I did all this myself. I had to carry my camera. I had to carry my tripod.
You see how she holding it?
Right. She was something like this. My
Like a
camera,
boombox.
my tripod was over here, and that was like 80 pounds of equipment right there. And back when I was in my 20s, when I was doing this, I was maybe $120. That's it. So you had to be strong, to carry that stuff. Plus, as a woman, I had on heels, I had on pantyhose, because, back in the day, we had to wear stockings. We don't do that no more. So my first job was in Beaufort, South Carolina, and it was hot. The climate was very much like here in Orlando. We got a little bit more cold season than Orlando gets, but it was hot. So my hair was always frizzed out, natural. My makeup was always sweaty. And you just had to get it done. That's why I said we were more athletic with it, because you had to get it done.
Right.
You didn't have a crew. You didn't have a cameraman, a producer, and an editor. That was all me when I first started. I did all of it.
Wow.
So-
for the week.
What was your craziest experience going through that?
Early on in Beaufort, my first job, the craziest thing that ever happened to me coming from D.C. is that I was on my way to a story one day. I used to drive this Gold Fiero, a two-seater Gold Fiero, which was a real fly car. It was a real fly
sounds
They
girl
don't know
car.
about them.
I was gonna say, it
Little
sounds
two-door
fancy.
cars.
Little
Oh, yeah.
two-door
I used to
car.
want one of them when I
It
was
was
legit.
gold,
I used to
and,
want
like,
one.
It matched my complexion. The tires were black. My hair was black. It looked good. I love that car. But anyway, so I'm in Beaufort, and I got my equipment in my passenger seat, because it's a little two-seater. Ain't no trunk. And I'm driving to my story, and traffic is backed up. And the story was just at the school board. It was like, somebody didn't spend some money right. I don't know. But I was on my way to the school board to do this interview. Traffic is backed up. School board starts at 5. It's 5:07. I'm already late. I'm sitting there for 10 minutes. You didn't have no cell phone to call and be like, I'm late. Can you? I'm sitting there, 5:30 comes. I get out my car to see why we're on this 2-lane highway and traffic's not moving. It's an 18-foot alligator stretched across the road, sunning himself. I'm from D.C. I'm like, shoot it.
Right.
That's how we solve problems in D.C.
Right.
back in the day. But
Right.
seriously, I was like, shoot it. I'm talking to the sheriff. Why can't you move him? I got to be somewhere. He's like, ma'am, that's against the law. We will put you in jail if you shoot our alligators. And I was like, oh,
What?
lesson learned. I had no idea. But I'm thinking it's a threat because y'all scared of it, Get it out the way. It's not moving. You can't move an 18-foot alligator. So that was a crazy experience. Let me see. What happened at BET? Oh, my gosh. Okay, this was a crazy experience. I had Method Man and Redman on the show with me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. They had just done that movie. What was it called?
How
Ha ha.
How High? Yes, How High. I was going to say How You're Learning, but it was How High.
Ha ha.
So, back in the 90s, weed wasn't really accepted.
Yeah.
You couldn't smoke publicly. You didn't really want to talk about it. All the rappers did it, and you knew about it, but it wasn't something that you really discussed. But because I started in journalism, in news reporting, I'm a very fact-based interviewer. And so instead of just dealing with the entertainment value of this movie production, I asked them, so how much weed did you smoke to be able to do your part? And they went with it. So we're talking about weed. We're talking about how high they were, how often they got high, how many joints they rolled before the show. They're loving it. I'm loving it. It's hilarious. We get off the air, and Def Jam, the label calls, and is pissed because I'm talking about stuff that back then was not cool to discuss. So they're pissed. Now Redman's pissed. Redman's calling back to BET after they left the studio. I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna kick your ass. Find that
To
bitch.
you?
I'm like, about me. And I'm like,
Whoa.
that was the scariest situation I've ever been in. Well, no, that's not true. But that was a scary situation.
Oh, wow.
So I'm calling other people in the industry that I know, can you calm him down? This was a legitimate interview. It was fine until the label got in his head. So they did, thank God. I had to call, well, I can't call names, but I had to call other performing artists to get to him and say, leave her alone. Because I really thought he was coming to get me.
Did you have security back
No,
then? No,
girl. We ain't, at BET, we ain't have security. We ain't had no budget. We ain't have no wardrobe. We were trailblazers.
First generation.
Y'all made it look good.
We made it
Great.
look good.
Great.
But that was the thing, and we were all in our 20s. Even the vice presidents. I think the oldest person at BET back then was Donnie. And
Shout out to Donnie Simpson. You're wild watching Video Soul.
That's right. That's right. The best to ever do. And I got to shout out Donnie because Donnie set a model or a blueprint that all of us, even today, you want to emulate. He's
Yes.
warm on the air.
Yes.
He's always prepared and knowledgeable.
Yes.
He always has a smile. He enjoys his interviews.
Yes.
I can only speak for myself. I know so many other people too, but I studied Donnie like a book. I really did because I just thought he was so intelligent, again, so knowledgeable about his guests that he didn't just talk about the music when they came on the show. He knew about their lives, he knew about their wives, he knew about their children, he knew about their past projects, he knew about what was coming, and that's what an interview is supposed to be. It's supposed to be interesting, not just, what song you got coming out, what's the next single. It's not supposed to be like that.
Straight up.
You want to talk to somebody or interview somebody to get to know them,
I,
right?
I studied him a lot too.
Yeah,
Like when
you
I was
did?
definitely. I
Donnie
came home
King.
every day to watch Video Soul.
Yes.
I have a question for you really
Yeah.
quick, just to back it up a little bit. Speaking of the scary situations, I heard, like, I was on, doing my due diligence because we were going to interview you, and that was like a story that they said, well, you got jumped by some girls from death row. Is
See,
that true?
That's
What?
not true.
That's a lie?
That's not true. And
I
I don't
like-
know how that started.
But you heard that. Okay.
That's a rumor.
It was an interview
But,
with
yeah,
the
she wrote a
photographer.
What the
book.
lady
I
name
forget.
was.
I forgot. I know she was a photographer for Death Row or
Right.
something like that.
And she really wasn't, but anyway. But she wrote this book, and she put this story in the book that, she
That is
jumped me
crazy.
and kicked
Yeah.
my ass. And
Yeah.
I'm like, the fuck, when did that happen?
So I'm like, I gotta ask her
Now,
about that.
I
I'm like,
did get jumped, but didn't nobody hit me. So they
Okay.
tried to jump me. Okay, that's
No,
what I'm
we
saying.
gotta hear it.
we finna get juicy with the
That's
interview.
it.
Tell us
It
about
wasn't
the Death Row
scariest
days.
situation, and even this wasn't the scariest.
Tell us about the
situation.
Death Row days.
So Death Row, we
crazy.
were all at Jack the Rapper, and when I left BET, I got fired from BET. That's how I left BET.
Shit.
That's a whole nother story.
We gonna
But
talk
anyway,
about
Yeah, we
that
gonna get into that too.
we only got an hour, boo. But I left BET. I could not get a job because I got blacklisted. Sometimes egos get in the way, and I got an ego, he got an ego, but you hold the power, so
Yeah.
I ain't got a job no more. So not only did I not have a job, but I couldn't get a job. MTV wasn't messing with me. VH1 wouldn't mess with me. Radio wouldn't mess with me. I was like, what am I going to do? And I had a kid. So I'm like, I'm a single mom. I ain't got no money coming in. I got to figure this out. I'm hosting the Super Bowl party in Atlanta. And, back in the day, I was hot. I was
Oh, yeah.
right,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Still
Oh,
are.
yeah.
Still are.
We
We in this club, and all the players are coming in. Deion Sanders, because he was with the Hawks. Alonzo Mourning was with Charlotte, but everybody's in town. It was in Atlanta for the Super Bowl. I'm hanging with Jermaine Dupri and, the whole So Def family. And so the club got so crowded, I got up on this table to start dancing because I love to dance. That's why I said I've always been a dancer, just not in the video. I'm dancing on the table. Everybody in the club knows who I am. Everybody in the club knows I got fired. I don't care. So I'm dancing on the table. Suge walks in. Suge Knight walks in with Snoop, Nate Dogg, and then all of Death Row security. So they walk in, so Suge spots me, and he's like, come here. And I'm like, nigga, I don't know you. First of all, but I know about you. So I ain't messing with you. So I'm still dancing like I don't see him. So he comes over and I'm on the table. He's standing here looking up at me. He was like, hey. I still ain't looking at him. This is I love shit. Hey. So I look down at him and he's like, don't you need a job? I was like, oh my God. So even though everybody knew it, it's still embarrassing though, right? So I started laughing. I said, as a matter of fact, I do. He's like, let me holler at you. So I jumped down off the table. We started talking. He's like, come on and go eat with me. I'm like, nah, I ain't going nowhere with Suge.
Yeah.
Thank you. But no. So he said, I tell you what you do. Call me in the morning. He gives me his card. Call me in the morning. We'll have breakfast. And we can talk about it. And I was like, what kind of job? He's like, I don't know. We'll figure something out. I was like, wow. And I really appreciated him because I just told you, all the places that it made sense for me to go to, MTV, VH1, radio, none of them would touch me because of rumors from, executives at BET who talked about me and said, oh, you don't want her, and whatever. So they wouldn't hire me. I call him the next morning, but I'm already at the airport because I don't want to have breakfast with Suge Knight. Right. So I'm already at the airport. So he's like, what did he call me? He said, Miss Woods. And I said, hi, Suge, how are you? Doing my journalism thing. He said, okay, we're going to be the journalists. I'm doing good. Where you at? I said, well, I'm at the airport. He was like, we're supposed to have breakfast. I was like, Suge.
You done dodged him.
What? You have a job or what? He was like, I need an assistant. And I'm like, I'm a journalist. I'm an assistant? But I needed a job, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I said, well, what does that involve? He's like, whatever you want it to be. And I was like, oh, word? He's like, yeah. He's like, you at the airport, meet me in LA in 3 days. I got to stay here for 3 days, but I'll be back on like Friday or something like that. Meet me in LA on Friday. We'll talk about a job. So I was like, okay, bet. Thank you. Went home to DC, told my mom, grabbed my baby. Thursday, we fly to LA. Got to my mom with me because I was like, I ain't rolling the
Gonna go to death row.
Yeah.
But I got there. I went to the offices, the death row offices. He was so professional. He was so compassionate. Because, everybody in the industry had heard that I got fired. Nobody knew why, but everybody knew I wasn't working. And he looked at me, knew my background, knew I had a baby, knew that I had talent. It was just like, I'm going to help the sister out. Mm-hmm. And that's what he said to me. He's like, you need a job. I got money. What do you want to do? So I said, I can do your PR. He's like, you ever did that before? I was like, no, but I can do it.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He hired me as his executive assistant, but I'm the one that started the Pop Warner football, football with Snoop. Yeah. He started it, but I got the uniforms for him. So I went and got it put on.
The first team?
First one, yeah.
Really?
The sneakers, the Death Row Mother's Day event that they used to do, that was me. I did that whole thing. Money came from Death Row and Interscope, but and Suge actually had the idea, but he's like, I got this idea, do this. And that's what he would do. So all of their marketing and branding and PR, back in the 90s, that stuff didn't exist, the marketing brand, what we would call now. But it's what we were doing. And so I brought a little class to Death Row because their street was already top notch. Back in the 90s, Death Row was it.
Right,
Definitely.
Was it really like that? Like violent like around? Like, or is it more?
See, I'm going to tell you the truth. Again, this is why I love Suge. Suge always protected me from that. Did stuff happen? I saw the aftermath. I was never, ever there to witness nothing. He would say to me, he used to call me the most. Hey, the most, what you about to do? And I'd be like, well, I'll be back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to get some pizza. Whatever. But that was my cue.
Oh, that
get
was like
gone.
cold. Like,
get gone.
Yeah.
We about to handle some stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I'm out.
Did you ever get to meet Pop?
huh?
Did you ever get to meet Pop?
Tupac?
Yeah, because
I met Tupac before I went to Death Row. Tupac was on my show at BET. Tupac was my heart.
What?
Tupac and I raced. We running.
What?
Yeah.
Now,
How the fuck that happened? Like you and Tupac was racing one time?
He and John Singleton.
Oh,
were
yeah, I remember that.
We're doing a show. We're doing a video, and I had finished my show, so I went over. My best friend, Sunita, produced Rap City.
Okay.
And so
Yep.
she had John Singleton and Tupac out. They were running. I was like, I ran track. What? So I'm running with him. So it was fun. But earlier in the day, Tupac and I had gone over to Macy's. We had to make an appearance for, was it
Because it was around that time when they did.
Valentine's Day or?
Because that was around that time when they were on, when they had just did
Poetic
Justice.
Yep,
Yeah.
Yep. I can't remember what month it was, but we went over them to make an appearance about something in Macy's. So we spent the entire day together. And after that day, we were just real good friends. We were real good friends. And that's the type of person Pac was. You know, he had a street side.
Yeah.
But his intellect
It was one of a kind.
was unmatched. I mean, well-read, well-spoken, humble, funny, mischievous. He is just a beautiful person.
Yep.
The last time I saw Pac was when I was working at Death Row, and I was walking into the office building on Wilshire Boulevard, and he was coming up the street, and I saw him before he saw me, and his head was down. His head was down. He was walking. He was so sad. And so he didn't see me, so I you get in somebody's path, so they have to bump into you. So I posted up and stood there, and he walked right into me. And I was like, hey, pick your hat up. And he looked at me, and I'm tearing up now because he was so, I don't know what it was he was going through, but he was so sad, and he was so not himself that day. And we just hugged, and I said, are you okay? And he said, yeah, I'm good. He said, you good? I said, yeah, I love you. And he said, that's what's up. He said, he didn't say I love you back.
Yeah.
I'd have been doing some Jada lies if he said something like that to me. But he said, that's what's up. And I don't know, that's the last time I saw him. The night he was killed, I was supposed to be at that fight.
Oh, wow.
I'm so glad I didn't go. I'm so glad I didn't go, because I would have been crushed. I would have really been upset for it to have played out the way it did. And I don't even know why. I can't remember now why I didn't go, because I gone to the last fight with all of them. When Tyson first got out of prison, we all went to Vegas for the fight. But I don't know. I didn't make it that night. And I think about him. And when you have good memories of people from way back in the day, you think about them. And this is what, almost 30-something years now that he's been gone. But you do think about him. And that's the thing I get with Jada. When you care about somebody and you had a great friendship and you know what a great person they are, you do think about them a lot. Do you go back and say that you dated them and you were the love of their lives? And I don't know. You know what? I wasn't there. I wasn't there, so maybe that's true. I don't know. I just do know that he actually was with Rashida. But
And speaking with Pop, there's a lot of shit going on with Diddy. Did you know Diddy and Biggie?
Did
you know them?
No, I knew Puffy.
Like, you ever been to a Diddy party?
I have never been to
So you ain't never had no baby oil at a Diddy party? You ain't never been to a Diddy party?
The shit is coming out now about all that.
It's crazy.
You know, you got to listen to your instincts and your intuition. I
Really?
never went to a party.
So it was always your instincts that told you not to go?
Yeah.
Really?
And I've been to parties.
Yeah, that's what I said, really.
I've been to all the death row parties.
Yeah, they shit used to be out the chain, huh?
Yeah.
And all the parties in Atlanta. I've been to parties in New York. I never went to a Diddy,
Really?
Diddy or a Puffy party.
Diddy or Puffy is the difference.
Right. There was a big difference. Yeah, I knew Puffy. You know, and by the time he became Diddy, you don't know people no more then.
But I do want to ask you this. I want to go a little back.
Yeah.
How do you end up getting the job at BET? How that happened?
That's a whole nother story. So I was working I left Beaufort, gone to Charleston to report as a news anchor. I was a news anchor in Beaufort, South Carolina. Then I moved up to Charleston, and Hurricane Hugo hit. And I was like, I gotta get out of here. I ain't never seen no hurricanes like this. This was one of the worst hurricanes before the ones that have come subsequently, that have hit Florida. This was the worst hurricane in history that hit Charleston. I got the last flight out of Charleston the day it hit to get back to D.C. because my daddy was like, hey, where you at? Get your ass home. Because he was like, you're not going to be down here for some, first job. They ain't paying you no money. My first job, I made $18,000 as a reporter. I went to Charleston. I think I made $20,500. So that wasn't no money. He was like, you are not putting your life on the line talking about me. I'm like, Daddy, I'm a reporter. I've got to go live. He was like, girl, get you. He didn't call me girl. He was like, nigga, you gonna get your ass on the plane and get out of here.
Right.
And so I drove my little Fiero to the airport and left it in the airport, got on the last flight out of Charleston to get there. While I was in town, I went by BET, and I couldn't even get in. I just did a cold call. Couldn't get in or nothing. I went home, went back to Charleston afterwards, covered all of the aftermath of the hurricane and the devastation and the lives lost and stuff. It was really, really bad. And Thanksgiving was coming up, so I was going back to D.C. for Thanksgiving. So Friday after Thanksgiving, I did another cold call at BET. I just walked up in there, and the news director was there, Deborah Tang. She was there on a Friday because they had a live news broadcast every Friday. I didn't know that. I just knew I wanted to work at BET. I wanted to come home and work in D.C. I went in and met her on a Friday. She, sat with me. She looked at my tape. She said, okay, it's good, but where's your black news? And I was like, I'm in Beaufort, ain't no black news. She's like, well, do some more stories and send me that. And I was like, okay. So, I went home all dejected because she blew me off. I stayed in town after Thanksgiving a couple of extra days. So I saw her on Friday. Monday, she called me back. She said, I want to talk to you. Come see me. I was like, all right. She done already pissed me off because she blew me off. So I got a little attitude going back up in there. So I'm sitting in the conference room waiting for Deborah Tang to come out of her meeting to come and meet me, see what she wants to talk about. So she's just talking to me generally and just talking about, BT, the culture, the structure, how we do things around here, which is all good because you ain't made me no offer, so I don't give a shit. So I'm sitting there and she's talking. She's like, and by the way, we'd like to make you an offer. And I was like, I snapped out of it. I was like, what?
That attitude with the
Yeah.
way home.
I said, what? She said, yeah. I want you to come on as a reporter and fill an anchor. And I was like, word? And she was like, yeah, we're going to pay you $30,000. So I went from making 20 to 30 like that. Man, I couldn't get back to Charleston fast enough to pack my shit up. I was like, I am out.
It's time to go.
I was going national. I was going to be at BET. I'm black. Oh, I thought I had it made. I was so excited. That's how I got to BET, just on a whim, knocking on the door.
Damn.
How did you exit BET?
So, going from news, they didn't know what to do with me at the network because I could do news. They had me doing news. They had me doing sports. They had me doing movies. They had me doing music. Yeah. Every time I sat in for somebody on a show, the audience would go nuts. I mean, it was just
a great interview.
My personality.
Yes.
I was always very real. I was always very genuine with people. And it resonated with the audience. And so they were like, okay, what are we going to do? And so I'm like pitching my own show. I wanted my own show. They weren't trying to hear that.
Oh,
and
man.
So instead of giving me my own show, they promoted Sherry from Video LP up to be co-host with Donnie Simpson on Video Soul, which was like, woo, girl, you done went to heaven.
Yeah.
You get to sit with Donnie every day on the couch and talk to everybody. Because Donnie's show had all the established stars.
Yeah.
Patti LaBelle's, the Babyface. If you had made it, you was on Donnie's show.
Yeah, you had to go on Video
LP
Soul.
were for the stars that were just breaking into, starting to get some shine. Destiny's Child, TLC, Crisscross. No, because Crisscross went to Donnie because they exploded so quick. They became big stars so quick. But SWV, Jade,
Great group.
so many different,
Like Brownstone.
Brownstone,
Heavy D.
Heavy D, all of them came through Video LP first. Mary J. Blige came through Video LP first because he hadn't made Video Soul status yet. So I came in, they promoted Sherry, they put me in Video LP, and I'm like, cool, if I can do news, I can do anything. I can talk to everybody. So I'm sitting there, my Q rating skyrocketed so fast that instead of booking the show, we had people calling to be on the show. No, I don't want to do Video Soul. No, I don't want to do Donnie. I want to do that girl with the legs. Who's the one with the big legs? That's how they would call. And so within a year, I had gained so much popularity, so much, status at the network and in the community because I was still, every week, I was in Chicago, Dallas, New York, making appearances, talking to kids at schools, going to basketball camps, whatever, because that's the type of person I am. I think I got too big too fast. As an adult, I probably had some ego. But I'm in a cesspool of egos because we're all bad, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about not just everybody on camera. The camera operators were
Yeah.
bad. The
Photographer.
teleprompter was bad. The editors was bad. We were bad, you know?
yes.
And also young. But when you got to the C-suite with the vice presidents and the president, you know, they had a different little vibe about them. I got into it with one of the vice presidents. And
You
after
look like
that-
you was a fighter. Like
I'm from DC. You know,
Different breed,
you say
different
something
breed.
to me, I'm gonna say something back.
Back,
Yes.
You know, you disrespect me, I'm gonna put you in your place.
yes.
That don't go well when you're talent and somebody holds the power over your career. But I learned that the hard way. So it came down to this. Again, I was in news. They didn't know what to do with me. They had put me on a video LP. I was pitching this idea for a new show. The first episode was going to be Mike, and me. I had talked to Michael Jackson, I had talked to Mike Tyson, and I had talked to Michael Jordan. And all three of them wanted
three
to do
Mikes.
a show with me. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Michael Jordan
and
Jackson.
me. That was the name of the show. It was a special.
Wow.
I started with Michael Jordan. I flew to Chicago one weekend. I had to do some appearance there. Somebody got me tickets. One of the salespeople got me tickets to the game. I'm in the locker room waiting. He walks in, and I'm like you. I'm shaking a little bit at first, but I'm like, oh, Dad, I got it. This is one shot. Got to shoot my shot. I got in his face. I talked so long, so much, so fast, so funny. He was like, "Here's my number." Now, everybody else says it's because I had on these little like leggings and this little crop top leather
You
jacket.
had to bring it
and-
all together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the goods was out. But I think he really respected me because he didn't do interviews back then.
Yep.
He talked to Rashad.
Yep.
For sure. That's it.
That's
Yep.
it. Rashad,
Maybe Marv Albert.
Rashad Ahmad, and George Michael.
Yep.
That
Yep,
was
that's it. Yep. Mike didn't do that.
He allowed me to speak at his basketball camp first. He flew me up, had me talk to his kids. That was wild. Then he had a golf tournament. He had me come to the golf tournament. I played golf with him. You know, he taught me how to putt. You know, so all of this, I have access to these people who want to talk to me. That kind of got into their heads at BET because you never, you had Donnie, and that was okay because Donnie's a man. I'm a woman in the
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah.
You ain't
Right.
supposed to have that kind of,
No.
Yeah.
you know,
Charge.
That power.
Too much
That
juice.
power.
Too much
Right.
too much
juice.
Yeah.
juice. You know, what was she doing? She must be fucking all of them.
Yeah.
All I did was show up with my notes and ready to talk, you know?
Right.
So I got the Mike, and me already set up. So there's another personality there who had a problem because I got to interview Michael Jordan, and he didn't. And he's like, I am the face of the interviews here at this network. Not Donnie, but, you know, this should be my interview. And I'm like, what do you care? It's for the network. What do you
You
care?
ain't gonna
Yeah.
get it. I
So the
did.
vice president calls me in. It's like, yeah, I don't know what's up with you and Michael Jordan. Nothing. I got this show. I told you about it, remember? And it's all booked and they're ready. They want to do the interviews. And then he's like, why he want to interview with you? I said, what difference does it make? I
'Cause
just
you
want to
did
know
the
why,
work.
why he want to talk to you. I said,
See now.
it's for the network. Why are we even having this conversation? I got Michael Jordan. It's locked down. Why are you tripping? I don't care if you got God
Ooh.
who said he want to interview with you.
Ooh.
I was like,
Oh, y'all
did you
big.
just say that out
Oh,
loud?
he was big man.
So-
That's some hate.
Hold on. Can I make a guess? Was it let me ask you, how was Eddie Gordon,
So it wasn't Ed who did this.
Okay.
It was the vice president.
vice president? No, I'm talking about the interview that was jealous.
Yes. Well, I ain't gonna call it jealous because there's a natural competition.
Competition, yeah.
There's a natural competition. But dude, I got it. Why are you trying to?
Yeah,
Why you
that
trying to steal it?
That journalism
Man,
is
fuck that. Call them niggas' names out. It's been 30 years now. Call their name out.
But I've talked about this before, so people know. People know.
Right.
But yeah, he was upset about it. I ain't know this was his boy. You know, I'm thinking again because I'm a team player. We got Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan talks to Ahmad Rashad and George Michael.
But yeah,
on NBC.
that was
That's
something
it.
big back then,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
He didn't talk to me at the All-Star game. He didn't have me speak at his camp. He didn't play golf with me. Who cares? This is good for the network. So he said that thing about God. I immediately got chills.
Yeah,
I was
like,
who
that's
talks about
crazy.
God like that?
That's
insane.
That's
So,
that ego.
Ego. 2 weeks later, I was fired.
damn.
Oh, they were hating.
You know why they fired me? They said I wasn't parking in my assigned parking place.
Come on.
Parking space.
It would be.
Ain't nobody never
Yeah.
said nothing
And
about
they
it.
said I stole clothes.
Stole clothes.
Wow.
I'ma steal that raggedy ass wardrobe y'all in me?
Right.
I don't think so. And the few pieces that they brought that I really liked, I paid for them. I'm not a thief. I'm not a thief and a liar. You can say a whole bunch of other things about me. Well, you really can. But I've never been a liar, and I've never been a thief. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that.
Hey, Amber. Okay.
So I have a question.
Yes,
You were a video host.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say was your favorite video, like artist-wise?
Oh, favorite artist that I interviewed? You couldn't have a favorite in the 90s. Everybody was great.
Because you had you interviewed some
Man,
legends, boy.
Teddy Riley,
Ooh.
again, Jermaine Dupri, Mary J. Blige, Vesta, Shantae Moore.
Oh my
love
gosh.
Shantae.
Who else?
Oh my god.
Again, Redman, Method Man. I can't even think of all of them right
Jodeci.
now. But you couldn't have a favorite. You just had Gerald Levert. You just had people who
hell
came
yeah.
on. And because it was the 90s and we were all so young and all doing something that had never been done before, we were like family. So everybody just loved each other. It was like you walk into BET, it's like, what's up? You know, it's like, oh my gosh. I don't have a favorite. I have one who I always wanted to interview and I never did, and that was Janet. I never got to interview Janet.
Wow.
Janet was on that Donnie Simpson
Okay.
echelon. You know, she
Yeah,
would
yeah,
come in
yeah,
the
yeah,
video
yeah,
LP. She was over there. But I got Bobby Brown. I talked to Whitney in the makeup room. I never got to interview her.
Okay.
Who else? I don't know. But I've interviewed so many people outside of BT. I've interviewed Donald Trump.
Really?
Back in the 90s when Donald was
Trump was
cool.
Yeah.
You know, when he
Yeah.
was all right.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is now.
Really?
I have no idea.
How was that interview?
It's actually good.
Right.
You know, I mean, it was still superfluous. It was just, you know, him
He was
in
still-
his ego. But it was a great interview. I interviewed Martha Stewart. I interviewed
Before or after jail?
before. I interviewed Martha when she first made it with her first cookbook.
Really?
Wow.
Okay.
Wild. I got that cookbook somewhere.
Really?
I don't even know where it is. It's packed up somewhere. I interviewed Bill Clinton, not Hillary.
Did you
know,
date anybody in the industry?
Yeah. But you know, back then, you didn't really tell your business like that.
Yeah.
And thank God there was
There's
not.
no social media.
Cell phones. Oh Lord! But you know, gossip and rumors still got out.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
still
yeah.
got out. You know, because somebody's cousin is always on the scene, or somebody knows somebody in the entourage. You
Yeah.
know, got to run their mouth. So yeah, but yeah, I date people in the industry. Don't you ask me who?
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Don't you ask me who?
Let me ask you this. So, like, Leon, you know, the one, you know, got that famous line on Temptations. Nobody ain't come and see you. Oh, this.
Right.
How was that particular that interview? Because he seemed like he's a pretty cool, mellow person,
Such a nice man.
and he could sing too.
Oh my gosh. He can sing, he can act, he's a genuinely nice person, he's a great dad. It's nothing bad I can say about him. All the ladies are in love with him. I don't know. You either have chemistry or you don't. So he didn't, blow my skirt up. But everybody else loved him, right? You know, but he was just a cool guy to know and to be around and to have an interview with. Big Daddy Kane is like that too.
Ooh.
Kane is one of the most genuine people you will ever meet. And he's beautiful. No chemistry though. Who else? I don't know. Next question.
So, how, like, the part of when you got into doing the videos. Cause like I said, cause one of my favorite groups in the '90s, A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
Tonight, I remember I used to watch that video all the time when I was little, cause my mother used to watch it on video. So
That's so funny.
and to this day, I still watch it because that's like that's like something that
One of those core memories for you.
And I didn't realize it until this past Friday that you was the main video woman. And I was looking at that smile, I was like, God dang. And it was so crazy because when I was little, I used to be like, when I used to watch the video, I'd be like, ooh, that's my girlfriend. That's my girlfriend. And now it's just like, it's one thing you watching it, you know what I'm saying, you watch it, then it's another thing when you actually have the chance to interact.
Yeah.
And it's like wow. And like, how did you get that call?
So, I never even met the guys before. I didn't know them. I actually knew the producer, Daryl Simmons. He was Babyface's partner.
Yes. Oh,
and
yes.
that was his group. And so he called somebody who called somebody who called me, because I left BET at that point, and asked if I would be in the video. And I was like, again, this was in that dry period, so I needed some money. And I was like, yes, I'll do it. And so I was the woman at the bar.
Yeah, you was trying to
blowing
have
them
you were blowing them off, boy.
Yeah.
Still with that pretty smile. I was like, God dang. I don't blame her. I still kept on going.
I've never seen that video. I've never seen that video. I've got to go pull that video. I'm going to pull it tonight.
And what else?
You never seen it before?
I've never seen
Get
that
the fuck
video.
out of here.
Wow. And you said you was on the crisscross video. What
I was in the crisscross
Which
video.
one?
They had a pool party or something like that, and I was just one of the guests there. So I'm sitting on this pool, on the side of the pool, with my legs out, and talking to, we used to call him dark skin Chris.
Oh,
Mack.
yeah.
Chris
Mack
Kelly.
back
Shout out to
then.
Chris Kelly.
Rest in
Chris
peace.
Kelly.
Yeah, me and him got the same birthday. We hung out. Yeah, we hung out in Miami one time and got
was-
fucked up. But me and him got the same birthday.
That was a terrible, terrible death.
Yeah,
too.
man,
You
he
know,
was a
when
cool dude, man.
When people die that young and that talented and it's so unexpected, you know, that kind of stuff makes an impression. Aaliyah, when Aaliyah died, when Left Eye died, when Chris died, it was just like, when Pac died.
Yeah.
We taking some hits. That whole 90s crew,
Oh, yeah.
we took some hits, man.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. So you say you interviewed TLC, right?
Yeah.
How was it, like, you know, dealing with T-Boz, Chili, and I know Left Eye is a personality in itself.
Yeah. But they all three were, and they all three were so different. And they were so close and so tight and so sweet and so, again, talented. They just had that something, you
Yeah.
know? Because there was a whole bunch of little girls running around wanting to be rappers and wanting to do
Groups,
something,
girl
you know,
groups.
get a gimmick or something. They had it. They just showed up and, it, you know, it all came together. But T-Boz was the boss. Chili was the vixen, not vixen, that's a negative word now, but she was the femme fatale. And Lisa was everybody's little sister or a tomboy or, you know, but they were all very real in their own individual ways, you know, and likable, just likable. They were just,
Same thing with SWV too.
oh my gosh, those were like my sisters. Lily, I love Lily to this day. Taj, Coco, again, showed up and were just so genuine and natural and normal, and we just hit it off and just became like, you know, girls. Mary was like that. If you watch my interview with Mary, it's so terrible because she was so incredibly shy. And so I would ask her a question like you're asking me now, and she said, yes. No. That's it.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there like trying to pull information out of her, but something clicked for her because afterwards she became my friend.
Okay.
So, you know, it's just amazing how to meet people, and like you're saying now, to meet people that you're just like so enamored with or so, you know, in awe of. because you see her on stage, back there, what's the 411 and got it going on and all that. She used to give up. And then she sat there like this. It's like, wow.
So have you ever interviewed like Eddie Murphy or Martin Lawrence?
Ooh, I got an Eddie Murphy story too. Good
Oh
Lord.
man. Oh yes.
What's your Eddie Murphy story?
You have to tell everything.
Was that the one you were dating?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
When I turn up my mouth too. No, but that's a funny story. He thought I was going to date him. he thought I was going to come in.
Pull your
And he
mic up. Pull your mic up a little bit. They can't get you.
Oh, pick it up.
Yeah,
Is that
there
better?
you go.
Okay. He let me stop. I don't know what was in that man's mind, but I know what was in that man's mind. But it wasn't in my mind. Another one who didn't blow my skirt up. But anyway, Eddie is funny, cool to be around until you piss him off. So he was shooting a movie, Distinguished Gentleman, in D.C. And again, somebody invited me over to the set to meet him. So I went because, I'm such a journalist. Even to this day, I'm always thinking about the interview. So if I meet you, I got you. I can interview you. And so I went to meet him, and I took my best friend with me, Sunita. And so we walk into his trailer, and it's like 6, 7 guys in it with him. And they just hanging out and vibing and everything. And so he knew I was coming. So when I came in, I got introduced to everybody, so I'm shaking everybody's hand and everything. And then he goes in the back, comes back out with his guitar and strums his guitar. Them niggas scattered like roaches. I was like, what? This one ran out that door. He ran right behind him. All the guys that were in there, it was like a cue or a signal that if I get my guitar and I'm with a woman. So I'm like, and I see my best friend Sunita, she's getting pushed out with them. And I'm like, what is happening? So DC comes out. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try some shit. Here we go. So I changed my posture and I'm sitting up and everything because you got to be ready. I don't know what's about to happen. Right. So we're sitting in this trailer. He's playing this music. He's like, I got an album coming out. I heard you got an album. I would love to interview you. Yeah. It's this. I'm gonna play some music for you. Okay, I'd love to hear it. He plays this song. It was terrible. It was terrible. Do you remember Eddie Murphy's first album?
Oh yeah.
Was it great?
No, none of his music
At
great.
all.
Except for Party All the Time. That's the only good
That
song
was
he
the
got.
only jam, right?
Only song. Rest of that shit
Put
trash.
the telephone out your butt. What?
Yeah. Put a
of
tiny
music?
man in your butt.
See
There's
that?
been a lot of man in your butt.
He
Yeah.
played that for
Yeah,
me.
I remember
I
that.
was like, what is
So this is like early Eddie. Like, yeah.
Then I remember he did that.
But I remember that song. You know something? I remember that song like word for word. Just because it was funny.
It was funny, but it wasn't
That shit was
going to
horrible.
make, Billboard chart.
Yeah, he had a song about putting shit in your butt back then.
And I told him that. I
That's
said,
a red flag in itself.
Yeah, this is back then. This is like
So I'm
84,
like-
85.
So he plays, I'm like, that's garbage. And I said it just like that. And he's like, what? I said, I don't like that one. You journalists think y'all know everything. That's the problem with y'all journalists. You get some opinions, and then you just think you're supposed to say everything you want to say. And I'm like, this motherfucker is going nuts. And I'm sitting there like, watching him, because he's really agitated and really angry because I really think he thought I was going to be fawning all over it. But again, I don't lie.
The fact that people cleared the room was already
put me on edge, right? So, so...
Yeah, because I remember that song he did with Michael Jackson, boy.
If I was the king.
Was I with you? Was I?
Eddie made horrible music, bro.
It's terrible. But
So
I
let me
told
ask you
him.
this. Where were you when you first heard Phife Dawg mention your name? Rest in peace to Phife Dawg.
Yes.
R.I.P.
But where were you and what were you doing when you first heard that song?
So, I heard the song before it was released.
Okay, so you
Lord
heard it
have
before it was
mercy.
released.
I'm telling y'all all this
Call
stuff.
Quest, baby.
Let me just preface all of, or it's too late now because I have a master's degree. I have a bachelor's of science degree. I am well read. My vocabulary, my IQ is like way up here. But I got a little street in me. Got a little street. So before they released the song, Phife wanted me to hear it. He wanted me to know that he did this song about me. And he was so upset because he wouldn't get to meet me because I wasn't at BET anymore. So he's on Rap City with my friend Sunita, and he's telling her, I can't believe I'm not going to get to meet her. I wrote this song, I wrote this line about her. I'm so disappointed. So Sunita's like, I get her on the phone. I am coming out of the courthouse because I pulled a gun on somebody who
You
was
put a strap on somebody?
yes, because
boy.
he was attacking my sister.
Okay.
And so he called the police. The police showed up. I got a gun charge now. So I'm in court for this. So I was actually in the car having just left court, and Fife calls me on the cell phone. That was what happened. That's how I heard it.
Really?
I didn't hear it on the radio until like a month or so later, and it was so wild because I didn't think it was going to take off like it did, because it was just so mellow. It was so cool. And back then, hip hop was,
Yeah.
active and aerobic, and I loved it. But I was worried that it wasn't going to chart, and it's one of the most quoted lines
Ever,
in hip hop.
yeah.
Hun, you got the goods, like
Because you got to
Madelyne
think, man,
Woods.
Tribe back then was like, they went left. They didn't do
They
what
went
hip hop
different.
sounded like at the time.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but everybody loved it.
Loved it.
I mean, I still listen to Tribe to this day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So, but
you couldn't.
that is
And the
so
guys
dope
were
to
just-
have you mentioned in that song, and then it ended up being the theme song for the Wayans Brothers
Yes.
TV show. You know what I'm saying? So,
But they never played my part.
yeah, I
They
know.
played a track.
Yeah.
They never played my part. The only time I've ever heard that song where they said the line was in what is her name? Zoe Kravitz had a show on during the pandemic. I can't remember Frequency. I think it was called Frequency. And in one of the scenes, Electric Relaxation was playing. And so I'm sitting there watching it because I'm like, they always cut it off before they get to that part. They played it all the way through, and they said my name in the show, and I was like, yeah! That is so cool.
Right.
So that song is just so classical, man. Like, it's just one at that time. It was just one of a kind, man.
It was undone before. No one had a sound like that
No.
in hip hop
No.
when they did that song. And that's why I was like, is this going to make it? And they knew what they were doing.
And you know what's so crazy with that particular sample? Because Q-Tip sampled it from a jazz musician, and just it was just so crazy just hearing a sample like that, and like especially what hip hop was going at that time.
Mm-hmm.
It just made a whole different vibe because that song aged so nice. You know, it's just like fine wine.
It's really wild because hip hop then, you had real artists and musicians and music aficionados who studied music. And that's why, to this day, Q-Tip is a genius.
Yes.
You know, you talk about Kanye being a genius. You talk about, I don't know, who else they call a genius.
Pharrell.
Q-Tip, I ain't never heard Pharrell called a genius. I love Pharrell, but I ain't
yeah.
never heard that one. But okay. All right. But Q-Tip does not get the credit that he deserves because his mind was always ahead.
Yes.
It was always ahead. And Dre, genius. I ain't never heard Pharrell. I heard Pharrell is talented. I ain't never heard genius, but okay, I'll give you that. It's a
No.
different generation.
No, because Q-Tip, he was ahead of his time. Dylan, the one that produced
Oh, Jay Dilla.
Jay Dilla, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
one
my
of a kind.
gosh. Another one, genius.
Yes.
When you do stuff that nobody else has thought of or been able to do, or it just comes out of nowhere, that's genius to me. Missy
Yes.
came before
Genius,
Pharrell.
yeah. Timberland.
To me,
Yeah.
that's just how I see it.
Oh,
you know?
definitely.
Yeah.
I love Pharrell, but I think a lot of, anyway, I think Missy's a genius.
Oh yeah, of course. You know, of her songwriting, you know, and like her first album is like a hip hop classic.
Everything she did was first and one of a kind and undone before.
She wasn't scared to think outside of the
Right.
box.
Yeah, she and Timberland, genius.
Yes, and plus
You know?
she didn't reveal herself. You know, she made it cool that you didn't have to show your body
Right.
in order to be successful.
She was authentically
They changed the
herself.
game.
Yes.
And that's what people don't realize. When you're authentic, that grabs people. It grabs popularity. It draws people to you. And that's what Missy was able to do. That's what Mary was able to do.
Mary changed the game.
So
She
here's
did.
a question.
Pop R&B. We never heard that before.
Here's a question I want to ask.
Let me say this real quick. And I got to say this. Puffy was a genius.
Oh yeah.
Musically.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that,
I tell people all the
It's
time,
hard.
I ain't finna stop listening
Those
to Diddy.
the ones, the crazy ones.
yeah.
I'm still gonna listen to Diddy. I don't give a fuck.
R. Kelly, genius,
Of course.
It's hard.
What I was listening to earlier today, man. I can't.
All right, Kelly.
Go listen
I
to it.
mean,
Babyface.
You can't deny that music.
can't deny the music. We're talking about human beings, and I'm not justifying or validating or condoning anything that they're accused of. But them beats
Yeah. all
and them
day.
lyrics,
I have a
Are you
question.
done? Oh, I'm sorry.
go.
I feel like we was about to ask the same question, but do you feel like you're gonna continue to do interviews?
I don't know. That's what I was telling you when I first came over here. I think I want to. Life got in the way for these last 10 or so years, so I wasn't able to work. But, I'm free now, so I'd like to. I have an idea for a podcast.
I know a guy who can help.
I know a guy who can help me. His name is Phil. He's Dr. Podcast. He's doing the show right now. But yeah, I would really like to. I would like to be 59-year-old Madelyne on a microphone with some people. Because my conversation today is a whole lot different than my conversation was at 23 to 35. Totally
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
you
Hold
know?
on, hold on.
59, babe. Be 60 next year.
You look amazing.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you.
Amazing.
You out here looking like in your 40s.
You know how we do. That's black. This
We
is being
don't
black.
crack, baby.
Black don't crack unless you smoke it.
Your question.
That was what I was going to
Oh, okay.
I felt like that's what
Yeah.
she was gonna ask.
So,
So
then-
one last question.
Yes, babe.
Out of all them accolades and everything you did, you've been around the world. How the hell you ended up in Orlando?
Child.
Wow.
It was still, residuals from having been fired and not really being able to get a job. So when I left Death Row for the scariest story that ever happened in my life, but that'll be another one. I'll save that.
Damn,
one
you should have
for-
told us that.
No, I can't tell you that. I can, but we don't have time.
All right.
But I left Death Row because of this scary situation that happened to me. And I told Suge, I said, Suge, I can't do this anymore. I
Yeah.
can't work out here anymore. I have to go home. I went back to D.C. I became the media specialist librarian at my high school because I had to feed my kid. So I still had to work.
Yeah.
You know? And I kept sending out tapes. I kept doing interviews. I kept trying to get to news directors. I went to NABJ, that's the National Association of Black Journalists. They have an annual conference every year. And so I scrounged together some money. I got on a plane. I went to Chicago and for the conference and met the news director at the ABC affiliate in DC. ABC owns Disney. So I know he thought I was trying to come on to him or something because I ran up to him after he spoke at the conference. I told him, I said, I'm Madelyne Woods. I'm from BET. I live in DC. I need to work. Can you use me if you don't have a position, at least for some freelance? I said, I have a tape. I want you to see my tape. And he's like, you got a tape? I said, yeah, I have my tape. He's like, well, how am I supposed to see it? Brushing me off? I hate when people blow me off. Because that does nothing but make me dig in deeper. So I said, don't worry about it. Where can I meet you? Where can I show you my tape? He's like, all right, come to my room at 6:30.
What?
All right. I came to his room at 6:30. So back in the day, remember they had those TVs on those big stands and you rolled them down and they
Roll
had
out
the VCR
TVs,
made into it.
yeah.
I went down to the AV department at the hotel. I rented that thing. I gave them, I think it was like they rented it to me for $25. I pushed that joint on the elevator. I went upstairs to his room. I pushed the thing down the hallway. He could hear me coming before I got to his door. He's like, what is the noise out in the hallway? It's me. I got this big stand with the TV and the VCR on it. I knock on his door. He opens the door. He can't see me because I'm standing behind the TV and the VCR.
There's probably a big booty TV, wasn't it?
It was one of them big heavy
Yeah,
ones.
big booty.
Right?
We call them big booty TVs.
So I rolled it into his room, and he's like, he sat there. I popped my tape in. I said, just give me, tapes could only be 3 minutes. It was like a montage of all my stories. I popped the tape in. I showed it to him. 3 minutes later, I said, what do you think? Can you use me? Can you just let me do some freelance? And he was like, you know what? When we get back in town on Monday from the conference, call me. He put me to work. So, and he told me after he let me freelance in sports. I didn't start off in news. He put me in sports because I had the sports background. So I started off in sports. He eventually moved me to news. When I was doing news for them, Disney was in town recruiting for a job here in Orlando. They used to hire reporters to be their publicists. So they saw me on the air, asked the news director about me. He came to me and was like, I don't have no full time for you, but if you play your cards right, you can get this job at Disney. And so he teed me up. And I showed them my tapes. I sat down and had conversations with them. Within 30 days, I was living in Orlando.
Wow.
Yeah. All because I wasn't scared. You want me to come to your room? I'll be there with my tape.
This big back TV.
Right.
Yes.
Right, with the big booty TV.
Man, I do have a question.
Okay, I got an answer.
You lit, because one thing, man, with me and D-Rugg, when I did the interview with D-Rugg, we talked about like time and places when certain songs, and Prince, which another genius. And when that Purple Rain album / movie came out, living through that time experience, how was it? Just
Man,
because I wish I could have been older to live through that.
Prince was otherworldly when he was in this world. The brilliance he had to be able to create the music that he created and then create a movie around his music that was all based on his life is just, unbelievable. And he was a fan. He wrote the theme song for my show, for Video LP.
Whoa.
Really?
That's
You
big.
just put me on some shit. Prince wrote the theme song for
Yeah.
Video LP?
He wrote the thing when I got it.
Really?
I'm telling you, my popularity went crazy. He wrote the theme song for the show when Sherry passed it to me. He wrote a whole new theme song just for me. It's called Pheromone.
Yeah, I remember this song.
So-
I did not know Prince wrote that.
Your life was a movie.
I didn't know he really, my kids say that all the time.
Shit.
I didn't know he was really watching me like that. I really thought, and he just asked Prince to write the music. A month after I was on the air, he's sitting at home watching me every day. I had no idea. He called me at BET. I'm sitting at my desk one night after a show, sitting at my desk because I would watch my tapes. Another thing, you got to watch your tapes. That's the only way you grow and improve. That's my little, mentorship lesson for you right now.
Okay.
But I was watching my show at my desk one night, and he called. And back in the day, we didn't do that screening. You ain't had caller ID and all that. You called up and asked to speak to Madelyne. The switchboard put you through.
Yeah.
So I picked up the phone. Hello, and he's like, hello. And I'm
I
like,
can see it. That's why I said
I'm like, hello? Because I'm DC. Hello? You're wasting my time. He's like, who is this? I said, you called me. Who is this? And he said, this is Prince. And I said, what? Because it was so weird.
Yeah, yeah.
It had to be him. It had to
Yeah.
be him. And I said, are you serious? Is this really Prince? He's like, yes. I said, I'm Madelyne. Like, nigga, I know. He didn't say that, but he's holding the phone. And he just started this long, metaphysical, otherworldly conversation with me. And I'm sitting there eating it up. We talked about everything from my outfits to he wrote the music for me, what his inspiration was when he wrote that song, to God. Where did I see, when you look at the picture of Jesus with all the lambs behind him, which one are you? I'm like, I'm the one on his shoulders. He's like,
Oh, Prince know how to get in their head.
ooh, I was. He had me.
Damn.
He had me. And then so I said, I'm the one on the shoulders, and he's like, that was a good answer. And he hung the phone.
What? You didn't say bye?
Nothing. Gone.
Wow.
That was a good answer. Click.
And just hung up like.
Hung up. Never spoke to me again.
So do you feel like
Wow,
he was math? So the song was already made before?
Pheromone was.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I was thinking he was trying to get into your head to see what type of song to place on.
I think he was trying to
the
get
show.
into my head to see what type of woman I was, because it's come out later that he used to hit on Tamron Hall. Who was the other news anchor or VJ? Like, he had a whole little, like, posse he used to watch. And I was just one of them.
Yeah.
But still, to be one of the ones that Prince is watching and knows it, I was like blown away. He sent me this card after he called me on the phone and said, this is what I was thinking when I wrote Pheromone, just for you. And I was like, this is,
Oh, wow.
I still got that card. Still got it.
Oh, you still have it?
Still got it packed up somewhere. It was BT was the best thing. The 90s were the best thing to ever happen to young black people.
Yeah.
I know you got big stars now. You got Megan, you got Cardi, you got Glow, you got Sexy Red.
Nah,
you
ain't
got
nothing like the 90s.
Saweetie.
Nothing like
It
that.
ain't nothing,
Nothing
like
like
the
the
90s because we were all in it together. Now everybody is a product, and you know you gotta
Yep.
be packaged right, and
Yep.
you know, to get sold. We
Back
were
then it
all
was different.
making it and doing it and supporting each other and producing it, and
That unity.
we were creative. I mean, I went to dinner with Jamie Foxx came on my show. We hit it off so well that Jamie and I would be, if I was in one city, he was there, we get together. We were in LA. When I first moved to LA for Death Row, we hung out. He took me in the studio for his first album that he was making, that he was creating. I wrote some lyrics for him, and it's not like you really write lyrics, but he's singing something. I'm like, why don't you say da 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 da? And he put it in the song. I'm like, shit, I should have got credit. But it's just that I don't know if these stars now have those kind of interactions and that kind of just
Not at
basic fun together. You know, I don't know. I was in the studio with Snoop. I was in the studio with Dre. I was in the studio with Jamie, Teddy Riley.
And it's crazy you mentioning those guys because Snoop and Dre is dropping an album Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie got a new special coming out
Netflix.
today.
Yep.
Today we about to go home and watch it.
And a new
Oh,
album.
me too.
coming
Yeah, and the
out.
new album. Yeah,
Coming.
so we that's crazy that
It's
you're
like
mentioning all.
everything.
Like everything
the
revolves.
90s will never die. They used to think it was the 60s with Motown and stuff. It's the 90s.
Hell no, it's definitely the 90s.
the 90s.
Can I say something? Because I was born in '89, so I call as a child the '90s.
Uh-huh.
And both of my parents, my mom did nails, my dad did hair, so I was a music baby. But I just respect that era because you guys didn't have social media. So I always say this: the grind was different.
It was
you
so
literally
different.
had to use
Hustle.
your intellect,
Yep.
hustle, like just real
and
get
rely
out there and do it.
and rely on each other. We had to do it together.
Correct. So
it's
that's
different.
very different, very
Yeah.
different. Now, I'm not going to say it's lazy because
Mm-mm,
I'm in
say
the era
that.
as well where social media is a tool, but the grind
It's different.
is different.
It's a different.
You would have to get out
grind.
and go to these places.
Yeah.
Now you can sit at home from your kitchen and
Yeah, just
connect
talk
and
to
network.
people.
Correct.
Yeah.
So,
It's a lot of do it yourself now. And that's why I said journalism has changed so much in the old
Yes.
skill set that we had. It doesn't really exist anymore because everybody got a microphone and a switcher.
Yep.
So,
Right.
everybody is a journalist now.
right.
But to your point, I'm not saying that the artists are less talented, but they got a whole lot more support because back in the 90s, we was doing it ourselves out the kitchen, out the basement.
Well, I'm going to say, my personal opinion, they are less talented because they can use platforms to blow up
Yeah.
where it reaches masses and they don't have to put in the work. Whereas talent back then, like you guys had Apollo and just different
Yeah.
things. So like talent was favored. it was favored, and now I don't know. So I don't know. I just feel like 90s were
I just
definitely
think
more
that
talented.
I think the game itself has changed, and they have adapted to it, and they still work though. When I look at Megan and all the work she does, I look at Cardi, I look at Glow. I love Saweetie. I just love her, you know, and I look at how she, you know, she was on a trajectory, in that stupid
Nah, that's
boyfriend, you know.
being with him.
What'd you say?
I said, nah, she's stupid for being with him.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, but that's the with the stupid
That
situation.
music just trash to me.
Just, you know, tanked her.
don't
And
like
I want her to come back
Music
so much
trash.
because I love that girl. And I think she got, you
I
know,
feel like she's
talent.
herself.
I like
She's
She
herself.
is. But she lost that platform. You know, Doja Cat. Doja is a major talent. I don't think she works the platform like she needs to. I think she's caught in a lot of, I think she's at war with herself with
She
some
definitely is
things.
at war with herself.
But she is a genius to me. I think Doja's a genius.
She has her own lane too.
Only-
Like there's nobody that's
right.
like her, so that's probably
Right.
where the mental
Yeah.
confusion comes
She's
from.
like a Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish we could go on and on and on. All great things gotta come to an end. Ah!
But it was fun.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. We definitely gonna have to have a part 2, man. Definitely have a
I gotta
part two.
save it for the book. I have to write this book. I've been talking about this book
Yes,
for
you
25 years.
definitely got to do a book or a documentary. I think a documentary would be a little better.
I don't know.
We need the video.
You got to put your face into place, man. This, you know, we in the age where we see everything. Even though I'm into audiobooks, but
Yeah.
I think a doc would be way better for you.
Ooh, the production cost on that.
And I'm talking about you do a doc and spill the juice, your shit'll go viral.
We'll see.
Well,
Let's
you know,
see.
you got the podcast doctor right there for the help.
Yeah, maybe I gotta take small bites first and then get it going.
Man,
Yeah.
like I said, it was great to have you. It was a blessing
you.
to have, you know, someone that's legendary, man.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Oh man, like it just
Well, I'm just glad I came. I love seeing all y'all. You know, when y'all hit the door and came in, I got so excited. I was so happy to be here and be around
Shit,
y'all.
we happy
you know?
to be in our presence. Like I love this, like man.
We were so excited
you.
for this show.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, ma'am.
Before I know you about to end, Renee, but how does it feel with us interviewing you, being that you've been interviewing everybody else?
Wow. I didn't even think about it like an interview. I really thought like we were sitting around just chit-chatting. So this was good. This was a great interview.
It definitely
You know,
was
it
amazing.
was a great interview because I don't feel like I'm being questioned. We're
Yeah.
just talking.
yeah,
You know,
that's the
so,
type of environment that
I didn't let that get inside my head because I started to prep for this interview. The old journalist came out. I started to get together my talking points, and I said, nope, I'm gonna go in and just have fun and just talk to them. So
Thank you.
that's what I did, and y'all did great.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and go down through the line, see who's got it, what y'all got going
coming
on.
up?
So let's start with
Amber?
Amber, I'll start. Okay, so Capricorn season is loading. So my birthday shenanigans is about to start. December the 17th. After the Rod Wave concert, I will be starting my pregame celebration. It'll be hosted by Moneybag Yo and Desti Your at Experience. And then on December 22nd, that's a Sunday, we'll be downtown at Parlay. And then, of course, January 17th through the 20th, I still have the cruise that I will be hosting. So that's all I have coming up.
You partying the whole month.
I am. The whole Capricorn season.
Celebrate, babe.
Yes, thank you.
Well, I don't have too much going on other than my magazine post being posted into the magazine Orlando Voyager. So I'm very proud of that because I did not know that anybody was watching me. But other than that, I don't have too much going on, but just chilling. So, yeah.
Shit.
I don't got nothing this week.
Shit. My movie that I'm in, Levels, should be releasing soon. Matter of fact, I'll give y'all the official date, the next episode I'm on. But it should be dropping before this year is over with. I'm in the movie called Levels. So y'all will get to see my face. Besides that, make sure y'all go online, listen to the Magnificent Asshole too. And I just signed on to be in the Christmas comedy, so be on the lookout for that shit. So
That's gonna be
I'm
lit.
just working. That's all. I'm just working.
That's
We
everything.
all just working.
But yep, go ahead and download, stream The Magnificent Asshole 2 on all streaming platforms. Let y'all mammy fucks get in with me.
So great news. So we are on iHeartRadio, Google, Spotify, and Apple. I know it's more.
Just say everything.
screens,
Just say
yeah.
everything.
And now we got and also shout out to Liz Perez from 102 Jams. She got 102 Jams following Orange County Urban Media, which is a big thing. And yeah, I don't got nothing else, just working, mind my own damn business.
Y'all are rolling. Y'all are killing it.
Yeah, so thank you for coming.
Thanks
the
for
blessing.
having me.
Like I always say, I don't even know. I forgot my own saying.
Great to yourself.
Don't be good, be great.
Don't be good, be great to yourself. Man, you know what? Screw it. I ain't going to do it, man, because I done forgot about it. And it was a blessing to have you. It was awesome. Man, it was a blessing. Thank you for giving this food, this soul food you gave us. Soul food.
Thank you.
Knowledge.
Thank you.
Just to let you know, it's the media, man.
I knew it was coming.